What's up, everybody? Mark with Carterbox Academy here, and today we're doing another video. Actually, when I say today we're doing another video, literally I mean it, because I've got very little to do today, and so all I am doing is catching up on student emails and filming videos. That's the whole thing. And so far, we've done a lot of very fun videos. We did some Lorna Shore. We did some Archspire. Now it's time for some Spiritbox, Cellar Door. Now I've heard technically. Oof, sorry. There's a little bit of that post-COVID cough. Technically, I have heard this song, but it was more so in passing. I don't remember what I was doing, but we were hanging out in the Discord server, and it was kind of being played while I was working on like the accounting or something like that. So I have heard it, but I have not heard it very analytically. So, you know, I don't know, take that as you will. But I'm excited to talk about it because it had a very Holy Roller vibe, and I love Holy Roller. Now, if you're new to the channel, again, my name is Mark. I am the vocalist in a band called Kardashev. We're on Metal Blade Records. Check it out if and you wanna. I've been doing vocals for roughly 14 years. I don't remember exactly when I started, but it was about 14 years ago, give or take. In my full-time job, what I do for a living, you know, what me and my business partner Quigs have built for ourselves, is vocal coaching. And essentially, I help people make cool sounds like safely and efficiently, so they can achieve their metal goals and have a good time doing it. If at any point you enjoy the video, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, blah, 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 all that stuff on YouTube you have to say. I'm tired of preambling. Let's listen to Cellar Door. Here we go. Okay, let's go ahead and pause there. There's a lot. There are some interesting things going on with Courtney's voice. Also, I know I'm still sitting very still and not jamming out like we all expect our reactors to do. But I'm trying not to make my herniated disc any worse. Right? I would love to headbang to this song, but that is just a one-way trip to a bad day. So that's why I'm a little bit more stoic. Now let's go ahead and talk about Courtney's voice. This is interesting. You know, call me crazy, but I feel like her scream sounds a little bit different. She has traditionally been very false chord focused, right? She's always used like a very, very strong, very rounded false chord roar, right? It's typical that we hear some of her voice, vocal tone underneath. We hear the like heavy grit, and it's very projected and very, very focused outwards, right? It's like in that calling register, but a scream. Here, now, maybe I'm just behind the times. Feel free to let me know. Here, I'm hearing her what sounds like more around the vocal break, what sounds like a little bit more head voicey, and potentially a little bit of like fry-ishness on the vocal. Really interesting. I want to listen to it more, but you know, I really haven't kept up with Spiritbox because I haven't kept up with anybody. When I'm not working, I'm chasing a toddler around. So new releases, like, it's nothing personal, but I ain't listening to you. You know, I'm listening to children's songs. Hop, little bunny, hop, hop, hop. That's my life. So maybe she's been doing this a lot more, and I'm just a little bit late to the game. But I'm really enjoying this sound. It is super, super concise, and it still has, you know, her signature very relaxed and open throat. Right? We can hear the openness of her voice. We're gonna keep going before I get into technique, but this is an interesting sound. I like it. This is fascinating. Okay, I'm going to pause there because I'm not sure where another transition is coming in. Yeah, she's doing a lot of work with timbre. This is really cool. This is actually quite interesting to listen to. So timbre, essentially, I've talked about it on the channel before. It's the way that we can make a tone sound different, right? So a really exaggerated example is right? That's all the same pitch, but they all sound pretty different because they have a different timbre. One's brighter, one's neutral, one's darker, right? So I'm hearing her really kind of open up and reach very slightly above that vocal break, and sometimes being more down to the chest, like in that heavier section where she was doing those ba 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 boom, right? Sounded very cool. Now let's talk about how you can kind of go about getting some voice in your false chord. One thing I am a huge proponent of, right? And this is not everybody's method, but this is a method that I feel very confidently about, is learning how to create false chord distortion free of your voice before you decide to put any voice in it. And the reason for that is I think it is very important for you to understand as a vocalist, if you're going to create false chord distortion, that your distortion does not rely on your vocal cords. It doesn't rely on it. If you can create that mental understanding, if you can create that link that your false chord distortion fundamentally only needs airflow, then you're going to have a much better time and you're going to have a lot less of a chance of hurting your vocal cords, right? Now, let's say, boom, we're going to zoom forward. You have figured out some false chord vocals either on your own, or you've had some coaching, or you've checked out the false chord fundamentals course on guitarvoxacademy.com. Heyo. Let's say you have that and you want to move some voice into it. There are a couple of ways to do this, right? The first way, and the best one is the one that works for you, right? The first way is to slowly lean into it with a very forward resonant tone. And you're going to do it kind of like you're a dog, right? You're kind of like you're a dog pacing around, right? We all know the old school We all know the old school dog bark exercise that was very, very popular back in the day and still does work. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about going, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not what I mean. What I'm talking about is you have your false chord and you're going to sort of growl it. You're going to sort of like get into this like, and you're going to take that and you're going to turn it into A. And you're going to think about being almost nasally, right? Hey, yeah, but with your false chord. Me, hey, right? Right there. Once you start to get that bright rumble, you can start leaning in with a very neutral, right? Your distortion should feel here. The grit should feel here. We know we're creating it with the false chords. We know that, but we should feel the resonance of that up here, up in the top. So I'm here. Hey, 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 right? You continue on with that. Hey, hey, hey. You're going to sound like a pirate. You might sound like old school James Hetfield. Do not care. Your goal at first is not to sound specific to any genre or to sound like any specific vocalist. It's to have comfort and control, right? Hey, hey, hey. The other way that you can do this is this is an old method as well. You can find that little yodel. Hey, hey, hey. And then you can kind of call out with it. Hey, guys. Hey, guys. Hey, guys. And then again, assuming you already have healthy false chord distortion that you've learned how to do, you add some of that grit to it, and you think about that grit existing on the soft palate, right? Hey, 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 guys. Hey, guys. And again, you're going to sound like a doofus, but it doesn't matter because your first goal is comfort and control, right? We'll talk more about it. You can morph it into something that sounds cool. But before you're like, oh, I want to sound like this, or I want to have a voiced tone scream for this genre, you need to just work on building the connection or building the mental understanding of distortion up here, true chords down here, not touching, before you really try to stylize anything. That's my opinion. Some people disagree. I don't know what to tell you. Here we go. Okay, that's a good spot. I kind of remember where that ends from when I heard the song a while ago. Man, if I didn't have this stupid neck injury, I would definitely be rocking out. That was sick. That was awesome. Dum 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 dum. What a cool riff. Courtney really knows how to handle a drop, how to handle a breakdown, right? It wasn't a breakdown. Shut up. She really knows how to handle it. That was so sick. Okay, so one of the most valuable, and one thing that she's kind of leaning on here, one of the most valuable tools that you can have in your toolkit as a vocalist, whether or not you're going to be doing, pitched vocals or non-pitched vocals, it's kind of a weird way to say it, but you know what I mean, is what I call, well, I'm sure other people call it this as well, the hype man voice. You can also think of this as the sad pop punk voice. Just depends on how you deliver it, right? But it's a very kind of bright, heady space. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck is up, guys? It's very kind of like, Limp Bizkit, right? It's all about the he said, she said bullshit, or it's like, I love my friends and I hate this town, right? She'll never love me, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? It's that, right? And the main thing we want to do is we want to be able to achieve that without squeezing the vocal space and utilizing majority the tongue position, the the tongue position, the soft palate position of the lips, right? I'm creating that brightness of timbre. Yes, I'm raising my pitch, but I'm creating that sort of exaggerated, narrowed sound by playing around with the vocal articulate, or by playing around with the articulators, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, what's up? Blah. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because a lot of what Courtney's doing is utilizing that space. Of course, she doesn't sound goofy, right? Utilizing that space with her distortion. And that's how she's getting some of these higher sort of like almost hardcore, kind of Brian Garrissy sounds. I do still wonder if we've got a little bit of fry going on there. Hard to say. But if I take my false chord, again, this, I know how to do that. I'm comfortable with it, right? That's where you would need to be. And then we take this, hey, hi, ah. If I let some of that false chord sort of loosely appear, I'm not going to force it on. I'm going to relax it on. I'm going to relax into the false chord, right? Hey, I'm going to be utilizing these abdominals to turn on the distortion, not my neck. Hey, I would have right? Now, again, it doesn't have to sound awesome, but you can hear where that could go. Right? When you're learning new vocal styles, especially when you're, doing distortion with your vocal folds turned on, I know I said this already, but I really want to drive it home. You do not care how you sound until you have achieved comfort with generating the sound, if that makes sense. You do not care if you sound cool. You care if you're comfortable and in control. And once you are comfortable in control, then you can stylize, right? Take that as you will. But again, I've got this hype man voice. I've got this hype man voice. Right? And you can put some distortion there. That's a very beginning starting point. A very, very beginning starting point. She's got a ton of power and she maintains a roundness of tone in that is really cool, right? Although, she's obviously a lot closer to her chest with her higher sound than I am trying to hit the same space that she is. That's another thing to think about. Let's keep going. That outro was very Vildiarta. Very Vildiarta. Those ambient like ding, 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 guitars over like the building like sound at the end. Super Vildiarta. Like I swear I thought I was listening to Mastodon a little bit. Like Courtney the Plant did something on Mastodon, which if you don't know who Vildiarta is, they wrote what it is in my opinion, one of the best metal albums in the history of anything. Vildiarta, Mastodon, not much beats it, right? But we're talking about Spiritbox. Another thing I want to talk about, the last thing I want to talk about here before I go, is the importance of vocal tract shape. The importance of vocal tract shape. So often when we are thinking about a scream, we are only thinking about the tissues or the tissues that are directly creating or distorting the sound, right? That are directly creating that crunch that we like. And so we do so much directly there and we never find a solution, right? This is similar to people who try to sing high notes. They're so focused on the posture and the length and the thickness of their vocal cords that they're not thinking about facilitating that space or facilitating that note by having a wide open mouth and an open pharynx, right? Let's think about some of Courtney's one takes, her vocal playthroughs, right? So much of the time when we see her screaming, she's got like her jaw like unhinges, right? And she's got this like sort of like tongue flat. Back of the mouth super, super open. This is one of the best things you can do if you're having trouble with your distortion, or with the distortion on your scream, however you want to say it, right? This is one of the most important things you can think about is what shape is my vocal tract and is it facilitating healthy sound? If you think about your airflow like water, it will help, right? Because obviously if the back of my mouth was pinched, and instead of my mouth, we're thinking about like a channel, the water is going to build up behind that and start pushing back down. That's not going to be very useful for a lot of more open, relaxed techniques such as this, right? You want to have a big open vocal tract. Rather than screaming, you want to scream, fly, right? If you're doing just like basic false chord stuff or even a lot of fry stuff, right? You still want that open vocal tract. And we hear that very much in Courtney's voice. And that's part of the way that she gets her signature beautifully rounded tone, right? Wide open vocal tract space, relaxed neck, activation of the abdominal muscles. Boom. That's a winning combination. Anyway, Cellar Door was sick. I super enjoyed it. Very cool song. Spiritbox has kind of been going in a direction that I have a massive amount of respect for because as any artist should only ever write for themselves. And if the audience likes it, that's great. It hasn't been as much of my thing, but Cellar Door was super, super sick. I really enjoyed it. So if you like the content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If for some reason you've never heard of Spiritbox, I have a hard time believing that. Go watch the original video on their channel. It's very, very good. There's a lot more I could talk about, but I think that's enough for now. And as always, many thanks, much love. I'm out.